It make you dance all night long just by finishing one record and segue into the next one.
There were incredible DJ pools. Like a label would give so many records to a pool of DJs, and they would be distributed to people who were playing clubs, and it was a remarkable way to get your music played.
For a lot of people who don't really know what the IDRC is all about, why don't we start off with a little explanation?
Well, IDRC deals in servicing all of the disco clubs across the country. We're like the fingertips for the record companies. We come around and we check what the people like. We get their reaction on the music, and then we forward it back to them so they can bring out better music and with a lot more quality.
It was very important for DJs to like you, especially to begin with, when your record was just being played in clubs before it got radio play, because otherwise you didn't have any outlet for exposure for your product.
They popularize it. They choose the recordings that they like the best. They choose a recording that they see that their audience responds to quickly. They play it more often. It gets the airplay. It gets the repetition that is necessary for a public to go home thinking of it, having it ringing in their ears, and deciding they want to have it at home, and they go out and buy it. So the DJ engenders this kind of purchasing power for a record.
It was the DJ that broke these records. Radio was not breaking records.
In the clubs, people would start forcing the radio to go on it because they would start requesting it. So, listen, I heard this song last night in the club and everybody was dancing to it. How come you guys not playing that?
There was such an obvious line that went from club play to radio stations that watched the clubs like a hawk to see what were the records breaking in the clubs that they could jump on and use as secret weapons, and the immediate retail response.
Once major labels started to notice what was happening with this music, that it was receiving more mass play, more commercial, mainstream play, the majors wanted to get in on the action.
Ironically, the song that introduced the club disco sound to the masses began life as a short 3-minute single. Soon, Love to Love You Baby would take on a life of its own, transformed into a breathy 17-minute celebration of seduction. It remains a defining moment in the career of one of pop music's most influential divas.
Donna Summer is the woman of disco, of dance, of pop.
The whole, diva concept really came out of disco and was one of its, defining qualities for such a long time. This is right out of the black church, right out of gospel, and what gospel is.
One day I was at church and I was singing, and I had been practicing. Mahalia Jackson was my idol. I stood up to sing, and all of a sudden this voice came out that I didn't know. It just came out of me.
A gospel-trained vocalist, Donna Summer, recorded her first solo record in 1971, but success eluded her until she crossed paths with songwriting and production team Giorgio Moroder and Pete Bellotti.
I knew that Donna could become a big star because she was beautiful, very, very talented, wrote beautiful lyrics. She was young, eager to work, so I definitely thought she was a star.
In 1975, the trio recorded 3 songs, including Love to Love You Baby. Moroder then sent the track to Neil Bogart,